Sound Production.
We right back to it. Yeah. We right back to it. We right back to it. What's going on, family? What's going on, gang? Hopefully you guys are all having a phenomenal morning this morning. It is your boy Abel, back live with you guys. Super excited to be here with every single one of y'all this morning. Let me make sure everything is good to go, family. If you guys can hear me, if you guys can see my screen, if everything is good to go, family, go ahead and just drop a number 3 in the chat real quick. All right, I know there shouldn't be no issues whatsoever, but go ahead and drop those 3s in the chat for your boy real quick one time. We're gonna get into this value today, or at least we're gonna get into this trading session and see what the market's got for us overall. Oh yeah. Yes, family, what's going on, guys? Welcome to today's stream. Let me make sure we are good to go, and we are very much good to go. Interesting. How did the pounds move? This GJ. This GJ's interesting. This GJ is interesting. Hey, man. Ooh, man. Only you could say how long that takes. Yes. What's going on, family? What's going on, guys? Welcome to today's stream. Once again, super excited to be here with every single one of you guys tonight. It is your boy Abel checking in. All right, let me see what we got in the building with us today, fam. I see we got Colombo, Sri Lanka. We got Chicago. All right, let's see what else we got here. What's up? What's going on, Jude? Good to see you in the chat, my brother. All right, we got Chino, TJ, Linda, Jasper, Victor, Chintaka. Victor, what's up? Blessed. Arturo. What's going on, family? How you guys feeling? All right, I'm feeling absolutely phenomenal. We got that boy Silver Surfer in the building. Shout out to that boy Ross checking in. What's going on, my brother? I appreciate you as well for being with me this morning. All right, let's see who else we got here. We got Jay Swizzy. What's going on, sis? Good to see you in the chat as well. Shout out to Miami in the building. Fort Lauderdale, Romania checking in as well. Family, go ahead and smash the like button. All right, go ahead and smash that like button one time for your boy. All right, because it's going to be a very interesting morning for sure. All right, very interesting morning. Because it's going to be a very volatile, not an entirely full volatile day, guys. But we do have a lot of data coming out in about 5.5 hours that is really going to shake the markets, right? You know, we do have the federal funds rate decision. But most importantly, we have the economic projections, right? The summary of economic projections that is coming out literally at the same exact time, guys, right? And like I said last night, right? Shout out to all you guys that was on the stream with me last night. You know, we had a very interesting stream, a very good stream last night, right? But we also talked about the importance of the news that we have today, okay? Because, yeah, the federal funds rate is definitely going to be important. I mean, we're pretty confident that they're going to raise, you know, interest rates by around 50 basis points. That's not going to be a surprise whatsoever. But I think the biggest thing that most fundamental traders or fundamentalists are going to be focused on is more so going to be these economic projections, right? Like, what exactly is the Fed planning on doing? What are their projections? What do they think the markets can get to? What do they expect interest rates to eventually, eventually get to as well, right? So I think that is going to hold a lot more weight, guys. It's going to hold a lot more weight than the actual interest rate decision itself, right? Now, we will be live, right? We will be live with you guys right here on this channel, all right? Analyzing the interest rate decision and also going over the summary of economic projections with you guys live in real time so that you guys are aware of what the hell's going on and what to expect, all right? So that's definitely what we got on the radar for today, right? And even after that, guys, we also do have the press conference, you know, that is going to be led by Jerome Powell, you know, which is also going to give us a lot of insight as to what the Fed is going to do. And if we have an idea of what the Fed is going to do, then it really does make our job a lot easier, guys, right? Because then all we got to do is align ourselves with the smart money, all right? The smart money are the ones that are going to be, you know, making decisions around the data, right? So that's going to be very, very interesting to see exactly how this ends up coming out as, right? But, you know, that's what we got on the radar for today. You know, it is going to be, again, this FOMC economic projections and the Fed funds rate decision, guys, at around 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will probably go live with you guys about a half hour earlier. So around 1:30 p.m. Eastern, we'll be live here. And we'll be vibing out, you know, up into that release. Right, but let's see what else we got here. All right, grand rising to you guys all. I see we got Romania in the building. We have Egypt. What's up, what's up? Nigeria as well on the check-in. All right, let's see. At work, trying to check in as much as I can. What's going on, Arturo? Appreciate you for even being here, right? I see you said that you're in that EU from last night, right, that we spoke about. And, I mean, this thing literally, it literally went exactly to where I told you guys I expected it to go last night. Now, I did end up taking this, right? But I took it with, again, 0.5%, right? I wasn't risking my full thing like I told you guys, right? Any trades that I take for the rest of the year, it's going to be far lower than what I normally would take, right? I'm very comfortable risking 2%, guys, on specific setups, right? But right now, just because of the time of year it is, because of all the craziness that we have lined up in terms of news events, all right, you know, I'm taking it easy, right? I'm lowering my risk completely, right? So I did end up taking this EU last night. Actually, I took it this morning, technically speaking. I was up around 4 o'clock, all right, 4 or 5 o'clock, and I ended up taking it this morning. And, yeah, it's going pretty well, right? We're up around, give or take, maybe 15 pips or so, nothing too crazy, right? We were up almost 30 pips at one point, and I think this could have a very good chance for it to continue to roll over, right? But it is something that, again, we spoke about last night. The market last night, guys, when we were speaking about it, was literally still inside of this range. Like, it was actually still below, you know, this resistance point right here, which I told you guys I have a very good idea that I expected it to go ahead and run higher, right? And we actually did do that, right? We actually ran, we cleared this level of resistance right here, captured all that liquidity. We even came to this equal high over here and captured that liquidity as well. And then we finally did find that resistance. And then, this thing ended up shifting, guys. What I want you guys to see now, right, is actually what did happen, right? Go ahead, turn on this music. This music be having me feel like I'm speed talking. Right, but look what actually happened now, right? And this is something that, again, we have to be aware of, because now we can also take advantage of the next move, right? And I'm actually going to go ahead and just hide my face real quick just so you guys can see everything, right? But now the next thing that I'm looking at, guys, is what actually happened here, right? Like, what actually happened here, guys, literally at around, right, an hour after London's session. And take a look at the structure points that are happening and the structure that was actually created. We've seen the big run up to the upside, all right? Then we've seen the market guys create this little level of resistance, right? Ever since then, we pretty much started going a little bit sideways, and then we've seen this nice strong push up to the upside, right? I'm actually going to go to 2-minute time frame. It's a little bit clearer on the 2-minute, all right? So we've seen the market guys ultimately come here, create this resistance, all right? And then we see the market spike above that resistance. And immediately after we spiked above that resistance, we came back down and actually ended up breaking structure. Right now, why is this important, guys? Right, because we ended up going from literally, again, this is why being on all the streams is so powerful, right? Because this is, again, literally stuff that I talked to you guys about last night in terms of what to look for when we do get into those key areas, right? I told you guys to literally wait for the market, right, to come up here and then give us a reason to enter, right, which is a change of character, right? So something like this, seeing the market create this higher low, higher high, and then immediately going into a lower low, right? That shift right there, guys, right? Going from higher high to higher lows to then a lower low right after a higher high. That's a change of character, right? That is one of the biggest signs, guys, that the market is getting ready to go ahead and turn around from that specific zone. Now, the cool thing about what we have right here for the EU is that we've seen the change of character, but we haven't got the re-entry yet, right? So even for those of you guys that are not in this position just yet, there's a very good chance now that you guys can possibly go ahead and still get in, right? Because now I wouldn't be surprised if the market actually does come back to where my entry is, which is about up here, right? I entered literally around these highs up here, right? I wouldn't be surprised if we do see price come back up, into that area, into that zone, for us to then eventually go ahead and continue in the overall direction that I think we can actually be headed in. Right, but overall, I seen what I wanted to see. Right, I seen the market create all of this liquidity during, throughout London's session. We created this high. The market ends up running the high, and then we immediately shift, to break that previous level of demand. This is all previous demand right here that got completely erased. Right, so now that is what's causing that change of character. Okay, so yeah, I think that looks very good, and I still think there's a very good chance now that we do see the market guys come back up to retest up around this 1.066 level to then for us to go ahead and get a potential move to the downside, right? So that's something that, again, you guys can literally keep on your radar for this session, right? Because I'm pretty sure it's probably going to happen very, very soon, right? Like I'm talking about, this move higher up into these levels can happen literally very soon because we are here on the smaller time frame, guys, right? So that's something to keep your eyes on. Again, I am in this trade already. Only risking 0.5%, right? Like my risk is very, very low, right? But that's why I took it. Low risk trade, that could potentially still give us a potential banger, right? Because even if, think about it like this, guys, right? This setup is so crazy in terms of risk to reward wise, right? We're talking about this is a 13-to-1 risk to reward, right? So even if we're risking 0.5%, right? 0.5%, right? 0.5 risk. Right, just look at the potential reward still. Right, even at 0.5 risk, since our risk to reward is 13 times our risk, we're still going to be able to make around how much? 6% gains if this plays out. And that's crazy, right? We're talking about a super low risk opportunity, but because the risk to reward is so good, we can still make 6% gains on this one setup. Right, so that's the reason why I did end up pulling the trigger on it, just because the risk to reward was so phenomenal. I think that there's a very good chance that we do end up closing a lot of this imbalance and we run all the way back down to these lows, right? Which is why I like it and I took it. So that's pretty much how we're playing it, guys, and how I'm going to be, how I'm playing this entire move right here. And again, this is all stuff that we talked about last night. So if you were on last night's stream, it's not no surprise, to see this actually happen. It shouldn't be a surprise to you guys actually seeing it happen. because it is what it is, right? So yeah, that's pretty much the play here. So if we are able to see price come back up there, that could be your guys' entry to get into this market. And I think there is a good chance for us to do it, because now we did just take this little trend line liquidity right here we just took, right? But I still think there's even more to the upside, right? Like I'm still thinking that there could be, some more liquidity that still needs to be grabbed, right, to the upside, right? So I would still think that this market is probably going to go ahead and reach up here and then give you guys that opportunity to get in and then take advantage of it if it's something that makes, sense to you, right? But I like it. I think it looks really good. I risked, 0.5% on it, and now we're just going to see, what the market ends up playing out and giving us for sure, all right? But it does look pretty good. All right, but let's see what else we got here. Dixie playing out, as you were saying. Yeah, I mean, literally everything that we spoke about last night, guys, is literally doing pretty much what we spoke about, right? Like last night, I told you guys this is my play here for the dollar index, right? I told you guys that I wanted to see this thing go ahead and run these lows, break this little trend line liquidity, grab this little support liquidity as well, and then go ahead and start to reverse lower. Now, this is exactly what we're doing, right? We came back down to these lows, and now we're starting to see this thing potentially shift. All right, so I think, and again, I could be wrong here, but I still think, guys, that we could see, continuations to the upside, right, or at least bullishness, right, for the dollar, in my opinion, back up to the upside. Right now, I could be completely wrong, and if I'm completely wrong, then that is completely fine, huh? All right, and if it happens, it is what it is. I take my L like a champ, right? That's one thing that I feel like a lot of traders need to learn how to do. All right, just like how you want to, win. You have to learn how to not just win, but you have to learn how to win professionally, right? But that's also the same exact mindset, guys, and the same exact thought process when you're, also losing, right? Like how many of you guys are, professional losers, right? And when I say professional losers, I'm not talking about in a sense of you losing every single trade. No, I'm talking about how you're able to deal and how you're able to manage with those emotions. I think that's the biggest, separator, guys, from the people that are profitable and the ones that aren't profitable, right? I'm a professional loser. All right. And again, don't take that out of context, right? When I say I'm a professional loser, it's just that I know how to manage myself when I take a loss, whenever it happens, right? Because I do take losses, right? Everybody on the stream takes losses, but not everybody on the stream knows how to manage their emotions correctly after a loss, right? Not many people on the stream know how to, how to operate after a loss, right? So you have to really get into that mindset, guys. The same way that you accept a win, and at least how your emotions are, should be the same way that you look at a loss. It is what it is. It's a part of the process. It's a part of the game, right? In fact, I will even go a little bit further with this topic, right? In fact, I also truly believe that a lot of you guys in the chat are also probably not even professional winners, right? Because being a professional winner, guys, in this game isn't necessarily talking about you consistently winning, right? That's not what I'm talking about, right? You being a professional winner is you taking setups that actually play out in your favor, but doing it while following your proper rules, right? While following risk management, while following, all of your perimeters that you set for yourself, right? Also, while keeping your emotions in check, okay? I think that's the biggest thing there, right? Because again, when we're talking about being professional winners, a professional winner in the trading space is one that follows the rules to the T, right? But also knows how to manage their emotions. They're not getting excited, right? They're not jumping up and down because they want to trade. They're not going around the house, telling their mom, their pops, their dog that they just want to trade, right? That's not a professional winner, right? A professional winner is somebody that treats it like it is what it is, right? We won, cool. What's next? What's the next play? What's the next opportunity? It is what it is, cool. That's a professional winner, right? Those that can keep their emotions in check no matter what. Now, I'm going to be honest with y'all. Again, like I say this, and I tell y'all this because I love y'all. There's a lot of y'all that are not professional winners just yet. So just because you're going through a little winning streak does not make you a professional winner, okay? So you have to really get in the habit of winning correctly, losing correctly, and more so than not, guys, it just comes down to how your emotions are throughout the process of that, all right? How are your emotions during the wins? How are your emotions during the losses? All right, if you're still taking trades and you're taking screenshots of those trades because you're finally winning, you're still not a professional trader yet. Or you're still not a professional winner at least, right? Because that is a sign of emotion, right? When you're taking trades and you're taking screenshots of those trades because you're finally winning, right? Yeah, that's a sign of emotions, right? So it's little things like that, guys, that really is going to help you become the best trader possible, right? But again, if you don't experience these things, then it's really going to really hurt you for sure, right? So again, just like I said, if you want to be a professional winner, you also have to accept the fact that you have to be a professional loser as well. Okay, that's the name of the game more than anything. All right, let's see what else we got here though. Facts speak to Jen, 100%. All right, let's see. Yeah, I'm risking $50 on my 10K challenge. Let's go out to I appreciate you for taking the trade as well, man, because it did look very good. Good morning, all. Shout out to you guys out there in Phoenix, Arizona, New Mexico in the building as well. What's up? What's up? What's good, bro? Pride Time is in the building. My guy, Matt, what's going on, brother? Appreciate you for tuning in for sure with us this morning. All right, let's see. I'm in GU shorts. What are your thoughts on it? I do like the sell side, right? I do like the short opportunity for GU, just like I like the shorting opportunity for gold, right? Just like I like the shorting opportunity for GU. This was my setup here, guys, that I gave everybody last night on GU. Right, and the market itself really didn't get to where I wanted it to, but it still pretty much did exactly what we were expecting overall. All right, let me just go ahead and clear some of this real quick. All right, so yeah, I mean, we pretty much got a very interesting play, right? I wanted to see it come up a little bit higher into this kill zone, but what I could have taken into account was the fact that we actually did already see, a nice little breakup structure right here, guys. On this, over here at the 1.2416 level, like this whole move right here, right? We did see a little short-term break of structure that ended up sending us lower. So all of this liquidity that was captured, I should have taken into account that this level could actually still be a strong high, right? And I didn't. But it is what it is. The market is still playing out in a very interesting way that I thought it was going to play out regardless. So yeah, I do think, right? I do think there's still a good chance for this thing to continue to go bearish, in my opinion. Okay, so yeah, I like that. I like that. Right, so that's where we're at. But let's see what else we got here in the chat. Can we check gold? Yeah, I'll take a look at gold for you guys as well. All right, I'm not a pro winner. I'm a degenerate. Yeah, I know. We got a lot of degenerates for sure in the building. All right, but let's see. 5 years becoming a pro loser. Let's go. Silver Surfer. Shout out to my boy Ra. Right now, pro winner. Yeah, I mean, it's a both, right? I'm a pro winner and a pro loser. All right, and it's just because of the mindset that I have about it. That's literally it. All right, it's the mindset that I have around it. Okay? But yeah, so that looks good. Let me go ahead and take a look at EA, right? My guy Jude looking at EA and is interested to see. Let's see what you were actually looking at for EA, Jude. Let me see what we got here. All right, because I know you sent it in the community, I believe it was. Or I think you sent it in in my chat. Hold on. All right, let me see. Where was it? Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, I'm looking at it. Yeah, so you wanted to buy down here at these low skis. All right, you wanted to buy down here at these low skis, right? Let me go ahead and bring up my volume profile so that you guys can see what we're also looking at. All right, so let me go ahead and hide this one. Not that one. Yeah, so this is what, this is the area that we're very interested in, that Jude had marked off yesterday. And it does look very good, right? It does look very interesting. I'm not sure if you already got an entry, but I believe your entry was around that 1.5485, 1.5485. Price literally went right there. Like, that's crazy, that accuracy and that precision, too, that you ended up calling out, right? Let me actually go ahead and show you guys his markup real quick. All right, this is pretty much what he, sent out last night on the actual stream, looking for, a bullish reaction off of this 1.5485. And just look at how crazy price is now, right? Like, price literally went right to that 1.585 level, which is down here. And, I mean, gave a very nice reaction from that, right? This thing ended up bouncing up almost 50 pips off of that level, which is absolutely amazing, all right? So, yeah, that would have been a nice trade for sure. Shout out to you, Jude, for sure, bro, because that was an absolute banger. Right. Now, what do I think can happen, though, for Euro AUD, right? I know you said that you're still looking for possible continuations, and it could very well happen for sure, right? But let me go ahead and just take a quick look at where we're at for me personally, right? I want to see what is the market ultimately doing. All right. Seems like we've just been range bound for a while here. All right. Look at this. We have been range bound since October. All right, we've been trapped inside of this range for a while, right? Now, what do I think can happen next, realistically speaking? This is interesting, right? Because obviously where we're playing off right now is an interesting level, right? And it could be an area of supply or an area of demand that does hold, But I also don't want to, I also don't want to, count out, the extreme lows neither, right? Now, the only reason I'm considering that is because there could be a chance, right, where this level right here that I just highlighted, right, this higher level is now an area that is possibly just building up a ton of liquidity, right? A ton of money below this level, right? And just seeing how we've been trapped inside of this range for damn near 2 months now, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, yeah, there is a possibility for market to go up there, but if I'm looking for any type of bullish play, I would want to see the market actually go ahead and run this demand zone first and then go ahead and show us some sign of strength to give us that potential move higher. Now, it doesn't have to happen, right? It doesn't have to happen at all. But that's what I would personally, I would feel a lot more confident if we ended up coming back near this demand zone and either run the demand zone, right, or just start to give us some bullish reactance a little more, or a little bit more lower, right? And again, this is just my personal opinion, right? The market could very well do exactly what you wanted to do in terms of coming off of this 1.58, 548 level and go bullish again, right? Very, very possible. But I like to trade at extreme levels, right? That's just me. I'm a big fan of trading at extremes. And if I'm looking at what the current range is, all right, I would consider this as the swing low, this as the ultimate swing high, and this whole little pause as just more so like a little middle point of the entire range, right? And if I'm looking for buys, yeah, there's a chance for it to bounce off the middle range, but I would need to see some type of a liquidity grab first before I'm confident in that. It's either that or I just wait for the market to come down to the extreme lows, and then off of the extreme lows, we can go ahead and start looking for more bullishness, right? So that's just my opinion, right? That's just me, what I would prefer to look for, especially if I wanted to take a trade from around these areas. That's pretty much where I would be keeping my eyes on more than anything, right? So interesting play though, right? Interesting play. Now again, this is not to say to stop your trade, right? Because again, I could be completely wrong, right? That's one thing that I really don't like doing, right? Giving my opinions and my biases, and then people go ahead and run with it, and then I end up being wrong, and they lose out on a valuable trade, right? So again, I'm not saying to go against what you already want to see, right? It could very well play out. But for me to take trades, I like to take it at the extremes, right? Either going to be at the extreme highs for a sell or the extreme lows for a potential buy, right? And I really like, this low down here to be a nice potential area of demand, right? To absolutely go ahead and send us higher. And I just see a lot of liquidity probably being built up around this level right here, right? So that's just my opinion on EA. But again, it does look very interesting. I do think that we will eventually possibly go bullish. So, do as you please with that information, my guy. All right, but that's where we're at for EA. Very interesting setups. All right, but let's see what else we got here. Let's see. How's my mic, right? Is my mic doing better, family? All right, go ahead and drop a 7 in the chat if my mic sounds a little bit better. All right, go ahead and drop a 7 in the chat real quick just so that I can confirm that we are good. All right, drop a 7 in the chat and let me know that my mic is good now. Let me make sure. All right, perfect. Perfecto. All right, so yeah, that's what I'll be looking for EA overall. Right, but let's see what gold is doing. I know you guys want to look at a bunch of different pairs. This was my setup that I had for gold last night, and I still think it's a very good chance that it could play out. Obviously, we have to be patient and see. But I was looking for the market guys to actually run up all the way up to this 1818 level, 1819 level. And then from there, once we are able to go ahead and clear these highs, I would love to start looking for, bearish structure to come in to then go ahead and send us lower, right? So that's still what I'm waiting for gold. Nothing has changed at all since last night's stream. We just been stuck in this entire range the entire night, right? So we haven't seen no change in that at all, right? So I'm still being patient with gold. We're just gonna be waiting and see what the market gives us, right? As for EU, what is EU doing? Again, I do have an entry on EU. Again, from the area that we spoke about last night. I did take some orders, which I already told you guys. Now we got to see if we can get a potential re-entry for you guys, because there is still a very good chance that we do find this re-entry. All right, I think that sometime throughout this New York session, guys, right, I do believe we're eventually going to make our way back up here and give us a nice opportunity to then go ahead and go short. All right, so I'm still going to be waiting that. I'm still going to be expecting that, which is why I'm not break even just yet, right? My stops have not moved whatsoever, right? I'm still very open. My risk is still on the table, right? Because I don't want to roll my stops to break even, and then this actually come up to my entry point exactly where I think is going to go anyways, and then it ends up stopping me out, right? And then I have to try to re-enter, and that's just a whole bunch of BS, right? So I'm just going to leave my risk open, leave my stops, where it was initially, which is above these highs over here, and then we'll see what the market gives us, right? But if we do end up pushing back up to these level, guys, which again I think is very possible, that can be a very good opportunity for you guys to start looking for some opportunities to go short if you agree with the short bias. If you don't agree with the short bias, then cool. Don't take it, and just let me take my loss in peace, right? Let me take my loss in peace. But that's pretty much what I'm playing, right, for my EU, just to update you guys on that. I see somebody said GJ literally, oh, man, look at this, guys, right? Again, another play that we talked about last night. Right, and this is the one that I said I was actually going to watch more than anything. And the crazy thing is, earlier in this morning, I had a pending order set for this, right? And I ended up, deleting the pending order because I was already awake, right? So I ended up deleting the pending order so that I could just manually actually watch price. But look what happened, right? Price literally went into that area that I was very interested in, this 166,700. And now we're starting to see a little decent reaction. So to answer the question that somebody asked, I entered GJs for longs. What do you think? I do like that, right? I am a big fan of GJ longs, right? It's what I've been, waiting for the market to give us. And it's, in my opinion, is finally starting to give us that, right? So I think there is a good chance that we do start to look for, higher pricing. Now, I will say this, though, right? I'm not going to be fully confident in this until we actually see a change of character. Right, so I will need to see this market, guys, like this high right here, and I'm on a 5-minute time frame, by the way, right? But this 167.3, I really would need to see that actually get taken out before I really have confidence in this move. Because as of right now, we're just creating lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, right? We could see this market come back up to here, really, pause at that level because it is a level of structure. And then we could still go ahead and lead towards new lower lows, right? So that's just one thing to keep in mind for sure if you are going to be trading GJ, right? If you got an entry down here at these lows, phenomenal, right? Just do your thing and hold it. But I'm not going to be fully convinced until we see, again, that major shift in character, right? That change in character that I want to see. And we don't see a change in character until we actually go ahead and break the highs, right? A change in character is when we're going from this lower low and then we go straight to a higher high. Right, a lower low straight into a higher high, that is a change of character. Okay, let me say that again, right? Because characteristics of this market, guys, right? Uptrend, we're creating higher highs and higher lows, right? That's the characteristics of an uptrend. Downtrend, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, right? The main thing is that we're going lower, right? We're creating lower lows, lower highs. So when we go from creating a lower low into a higher high, right, going from lows to high highs, like that is a change of character, guys. And then from there, we can go ahead and look for some opportunities to go ahead and get long, right? So that's just one thing to keep in mind for GJ. Again, it could very well play out during this stream. And if it does play out, then cool. I'm very comfortable risking 0.5%, on an opportunity to go ahead and get involved for GJ, right? So GJ doesn't look bad neither. I just need to, now that I missed my actual entry that I was interested in, now we just got to wait to see if we are able to get that change of character to come in. And if we get that change of character, then we'll go ahead and look for, a nice level to go ahead and get involved in, right? But yeah, it's looked very good. All right, let's see what else we got here. USD JPY. Yeah, I could take a look at UJ for sure. All right, shout out to that guy Mark in the building. Good morning. All right, see that GJ look good. It looks interesting. Let's see. So you are not concerned with protecting your account by moving stops to break even because you have accepted the risk 100%. Right? Any trade that I take, by the way, right? Any trade that I take, if I'm taking it, I'm very comfortable with the loss that comes with it. like extremely comfortable, right? Like extremely comfortable, right? Because if I decided to take that trade and I'm not comfortable with the amount of money that I could lose, then guess what happens, right? I start to go through that whole emotional battle, right? Now I'm dealing with not just me trying to figure out if I was correct with the charts, but now I'm dealing with my own self, right? And I actually said this last night, guys, which is an absolute bar, right? And I want you guys to write this down because this is an absolute gem. You can lose in this market before you even take the trade. In fact, 90% of traders out there, right? 99% of traders out there are losing trades before they even enter the trade. Abel, how do I do that, bro? How is that even possible, bro? How can I lose before I even take the trade? Well, because you're in your feelings. You're in your emotions, right? When the market has you second guessing trades, when the market has you overthinking things, when the market has you contemplating whether you were right or wrong, you already technically lost because you're in your emotions, right? You're overthinking things, right? So that's one thing that we have to understand, guys, right? You can lose out on trades well before you even press the button, right? So there's usually two type of losses that normally happen when you end up losing on a position for most newer traders, right? First, they're losing mentally, right? Because they're in their emotions, they're in their feelings. And then when they decide to do push the button, now they're going to end up losing on that trade because they already lost mentally. Oh, man, this is some sauce. Oh, man. Oh, man. Is this making sense, family? Right? Is this making sense right now? Let me know in the chat, right? Is this making sense? Because I truly understand how important mindset is, right? And it just comes back to that, that question that was just asked. Abel, do you not move your risk because you accepted what happened? 100%. You should not be taking a trade if you do not accept the risk that's coming with it. You should not be taking any trades without accepting the fact that that loss can actually come. Every single trade that I take, I'm very confident in, but I'm also very confident with accepting that loss if it happens. Right? Because that's the biggest thing that we have to deal with, right? Is our mindset, is our emotions, right? How are we mentally, right? How is our psychology when it comes to approaching these markets? That's the biggest thing. Right? So just understand that, guys, right? You could lose on a trade well before you even enter the position, all because you're not mentally stable at that period of time. All because the market has got you. The market got you overthinking things. The market got you contemplating whether you're right or wrong, whether you're looking at it correctly, and you already freaking lost well before you even entered the trade. All right, so that's just something to really, really take in mind and really, really consider for sure, guys, because it's so powerful to understand that. Right, but yeah, so that's pretty much where we're at. Now, in terms, again, of this GJ, the GJ is starting to push up, guys, right? So, again, my initial entry was down here at these lows that I wanted to get in. I'm not in it. Like I said, I ended up removing my freaking pending order for some reason when I woke up this morning, just because I only do pending orders when I know I'm not going to be awake during that time, right? So, I ended up removing it. And, yeah, me being live with you guys ended up me missing it, right? But crazy thing about it is there's always another chance. There's always another opportunity. So if we do see this thing continue to go and we see the market break this level of structure, then great. That's actually still great news because now we're going to have even more confidence in this potential move higher here, right? Even more confidence, especially if we do see that change of character. Going from lower low straight to a higher high, potential change of character. So then when we do come back down, that can give us an opportunity to go ahead and get involved. And we just have so many different levels, guys, of liquidity that I think we can go ahead and start to target, right? We could target all this trend line liquidity, right? All of this trend line liquidity can be targeted. We could target, this level right here, right before all this price inefficiency as well. We can target, right? So I just think there's a lot of areas, guys, that we could potentially target to the upside in terms of liquidity as a whole, right? So that's pretty much, where we're at and what I'm doing, right? So again, I'm not in this trade, but I will be very comfortable getting in if we do end up seeing that change of character first, and then we get that pullback, and then I'll go ahead and pull the trigger. Right, so that's pretty much where I'm at for GJ, right? But let me see. I see we got the rest of the team on the call now, right? Shout out to the rest of the guys. I appreciate y'all. Kyle, Ray, Skaggs, good morning to you guys all. Definitely go ahead and unmute yourselves when you guys get a chance, because we've been going for around 40 minutes already, right? I started this stream earlier today just because I was antsy to go ahead and get on stream. I don't know. I haven't been able to host streams in a while, so I was I was on here early, right? But yeah, definitely as soon as you guys can, Kyle, Skies, and Ray, go ahead and just unmute yourself, say what's up to the family, and whenever you guys do have anything you guys want to analyze, let me know and go ahead and take over. All right, let's see. Oh, hold on. Give me 1 second. You're not going through. Hold on. All right, now you guys can talk. Go ahead. They can hear you now.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Hope you guys are having a blessed morning. Hope you guys are ready for the rest of this week. Drop a 222 in the chat if you are hyped for the session. We got the whole team on today. I think it's going to be a good session. I think we're going to drop a lot of gems on here today. So I'm excited. Drop a 2 if you guys are excited.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I already been dropping hammer on them. Hammers, bars. All right. But let's see. Family, go ahead and like the stream as well, family. Let's go ahead and get 100 likes ASAP. All right, let's get 100 likes ASAP on the stream. Right, we are 140, 150 deep today. Right, let's go ahead and smash those like buttons to get the likes up to 100 ASAP. We appreciate you guys for doing that for us for sure. All right, but let's see. Who else is in the building? We got the boy Ray. What's going on, my brother? How you feeling over there, Ray?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Hope all y'all, feeling great this morning. I'm better than amazing, man. I can't complain one bit. So, life is good, bro.
I love it. I love it. Well, listen, I like to go to you first, Ray, because you always be ready to go ahead and pull the trigger, bro. Do you got any setups that you want to analyze before anybody else takes over? Because you always the one that's ready to go ahead and find something. All right, so you got anything you want to analyze?
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead, do your thing.
So I just took this sale on on GBPJPY. So I mean, maybe it comes back for y'all. If not, I mean, it's not a crazy risk. You can take it. It's up to y'all. But essentially, I took this just targeting these lows for my first take profit area. And I'm just seeing what happens at the end of the day. Like, market may react, it may decide it wants to go bullish off of this zone. This is not the most confidence I've ever had in a trade before. But if I'm just going off of what I see, I do see the potential for a sell. Now, I would like to see more of a sharp reaction, which is why I'm not really trying to force somebody to take it. But, again, it's a 10 pip risk. I'm going for potential of these lows being taken out. So just with that understanding, I do feel like it's worth it. And that's all you really got to really pay attention to in your trade. And like, is the risk to reward worth it or not? Because win or lose, when it comes to risk to reward like this, you can win 30% of the time and, still be profitable. So I'm not saying that to encourage anybody to lose that much. I'm just saying that on a trade by trade basis, it doesn't really matter. It's really just the consistency element of what it is that you're doing. So, I wake up every day ready to take a shot at something just because I know the quicker I can take 30 trades, the more profitable I'm gonna be. The quicker trading prematurely or not trading when what I see isn't there. I just mean in terms of executing on the lower time frames, because at the same time, like, you might trade on a 1 hour or the 4 hour. You might like looking at setups on the daily. But for me personally, if I can get my risk to reward knocked out in one trading session while I take somebody else 3-4 days because they're trading on a 4 hour, or it might take a week. It's like, unless you are risking significantly more money, it's just like you're not gonna really get nowhere, in my opinion, doing that. So it's like I'd rather trade like this because I know my stop loss or my target is gonna be hit within a few hours. And that way I can get my risk to reward done that much faster. So let's say if I got a 50% win rate or 60% win rate, I got a very low risk, high reward trade setups. I'm gonna make my money significantly faster than somebody that's only taking 2 trades a week. You know what I'm saying? I can take 2 trades a day and have more data being built up. You know what I'm saying? So, the faster you build that data up, the faster you'll be profitable. Like, there's no difference between this. Like, I could tell y'all that this was the, 4-hour chart or the 1-hour chart, and everybody would be cool with it just because it's a bigger time frame. But the markets are fractal. So the markets itself, they don't care what time frame you on. You know what I'm saying? It's really just a security thing. And a lot of people are just scared to take advantage of the smaller time frames when really it's the same chart. It's just a different perspective of the chart. So that's why I trade lower time frames. I'm trying to get this shit over with as fast as possible. Like, I'm not trying to be in drawdown. I'm not trying to be, market going positive, going negative, going positive. Like, how many of y'all done been in a trade and it's just going back and forth all day long? Like, you're like, man, I just want this thing to just make up its mind. It'd be to a point where you don't even care if the market is you don't even care if it's a loss anymore because you've been in it so long. It's like, okay, I'm just ready to, get this. That's that. So let me see. But decent reaction. We'll see. Like I said, we'll see. G Chef. I don't trade G Chef. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I ain't gonna be like that. I'll look at it. Bro. I ain't gonna be like that. If I was to trade G Chef, I'd take a sell at 14.88. 14.88, stop above the high and target this low. 7-pip stop. 40-pip TP. Now you see how fast you get your percentage out doing it like that? That's just me. A lot of people wait all week to try to get 5%. And I'm gonna get it this session. I ain't got time. Life too short to be trading on the daily in the 4-hour. Life is too short for all of that. So I'm expecting this order flow to continue. Supply is clearly in demand right now. We're sweeping highs, making new lows, sweeping highs, making new lows. So I would anticipate that's going to continue. All right. Heavy consolidation on this time frame. So I feel like it's actually necessary to go to the lower time frames. There are times where it's not necessary, but in this case, I feel like it definitely is because there's so much consolidation. And that's when I see a lot of consolidation, I also go to the lower time frames because you're gonna see a trend somewhere. I can assure you that there's very few moments where there's just absolutely nothing available. So just keep that in mind. All right. So that's about it though. I'm in GCAD. We're gonna see what happens. Hopefully this high wants to hold. If not, it is what it is. Like, I accepted my risk. So as long as the reward is worth it, I'm cool. Like I said, I could lose this trade 10 times and still make money on the 11th time. And that's the way you gotta approach trading. Losses are, non-negotiable in trading. You know, it's inevitable. So don't trade from the attitude like I'm trying to avoid a loss, because all you're gonna do is block yourself from seeing opportunities. Like fear will allow you not to see certain things. And you know, I was reading Trading in the Zone, and one of the lessons that I believe it was in chapter 6 was, you know, if you're a kid and a dog attacks you, right? And moving forward, all you have is that memory of the dog being vicious towards you. The next time you see a dog, it could be friendly and wanting to play, but all you could think about is what happened to you last time. And it stops you from being in the present moment and experience that opportunity flow, right? Or tapping into that flow state of, you know, capitalizing on opportunity. So the thing about fear is it'll block you from seeing something that's staring you in the face. And this is why it's important to like not have no emotions when it comes to trading, because everybody goes through seeing a perfect opportunity. And then you like, damn, why didn't I take it? I knew this was going to happen. I knew this was going to happen. When you hesitated, that's because you had fear. Like there's like you wouldn't hesitate if you didn't have fear. You wanted to talk to a girl and you hesitate is because you was fearful, right? If you wanted to do anything in life and you hesitate is because you had fear in your heart. So understanding that that fear is what is causing you to miss out on the opportunity. So like at the end of the day, I don't care, bro. Like I can take a loss. Like it is what it is. And you know, as long as you can have that type of attitude, you know, you can move forward with your life, because a lot of people are studying to avoid losses instead of studying to identify their edge. There's a big difference between identifying your edge and trying to avoid losses altogether. You can't avoid losses altogether. So why are you trying to? Obviously, technicals can help you not take unnecessary losses, obviously, right? Like there's a difference though. You know, you shouldn't be trying to go into the markets with the attitude of like, yeah, I'm never gonna lose ever. Like it's just gonna get the wrong expectations and it's gonna upset you. So just keep that in mind, man. Like just push the button. It is what it is. You win some, you lose some, as long as the outcome is income, as long as you believe that wholeheartedly, you know, you're gonna be a successful trader. But you can't hesitate, especially if you're on these lower time frames. Like you gotta really execute when you see it. Like you can't really spend a lot of time contemplating. It's just either you're gonna push the button or you're not. If you're not, just you know, get on somewhere. You know, don't even stress it too much. But you gotta commit to it, man.
That's a
That's
fact.
pretty much it. So like I
Yo,
said, I'm in GBP CAD, interested to see what'll happen.
yo,
But
I actually wanna, chime in on one thing that you said, bro, that I think might have went over a lot of people's heads, where you said that you'd rather be able to get your percentage right away instead of waiting days, hours, wherever the case may be. And what I think a lot of people don't understand too is that those, smaller time frame setups, even though you're looking at it from a smaller perspective, those can also very easily turn into some swing trade positions, right? So it can go from you getting, 5% to you realizing like, yo, this thing is honestly bigger picture, still going to continue going, to now that 5% per trade can now turn into something even much more larger, right? Because you still understand the bigger picture at the end of the day. Right, so that's also something that's very powerful, right? Entering on these smaller time frames, and if you can find one that you think could really run, then yeah, you can go to the higher time frame and see what it's doing, and just hold that thing, and just hold it even more, right? So that's a dope perspective too.
we're so yeah, man. That's about it though. That's all I got. I will check the chat real quick, just make sure I ain't
Yo, yo,
missed
yo, good
anything.
morning. Could I add to that? Because I gotta put my input in.
No, go
Good
for it,
morning,
bro.
family. I don't know if you guys were talking to me before. I kind of stepped away from the laptop. Um, not really feeling too well, but it's all good. We here with you guys nonetheless. But yeah, as far as like the difference between short term and long term and one being better than the other, like there's no true answer at the end of the day. It's all preference. But I would urge you guys to consider there are additional risks to taking more trades on lower time frames. That means you're exposing your account more, right? We all know that I've been holding trades for 2 months, which means for 2 months, I essentially had zero risk with all of the upside, right? We cannot discount that, right? You cannot discount the fact that not entering the market every day or not forcing yourself to do that, or the time freedom that you get back from longer term positions will actually can actually outweigh, the attempt of taking all these minor losses. You're like, yeah, you could, achieve your 5% in a day, quote unquote. And the way that I manage risk is like very much like Ray. Like I'm always like, you guys know me. I'm always on like a 5 minute chart for my entries. Like I'm playing the same 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute charts for my entries all the time. We book those intraday profits, but like Abel said too, like sometimes you realize that a trade really can run for like the long term. And if you can hold something for a month, 2 months, even 2 weeks, whatever it may be, and that gives you the freedom to not have to take new additional risk on your accounts, that is, in my opinion, better than booking everything and then always having to find a new trade every day. Because the number one rule of trading is capital preservation. And every time you enter a new trade, you're assuming new risk for a new percent, right? So, like, but I mean, there's no right or wrong answer here. That's what I really want to kind of like get across is like you could do both, and I wouldn't lean one way or the other. I would lean to a healthy balance of both. I would, book those intraday setups where you can catch beautiful 1 to 8s, 1 to 10s like Ray does. Like he does that, consistently. Like that's his bread and butter. And for the most part, that's kind of my bread and butter too, because not every trade can you hold, for the longer term. But I definitely want to like again make you guys aware of the benefits of not playing on lower time frames every day and keeping broader pictures in mind, because again, not entering every day, not putting your capital at risk every single day is incredibly beneficial. Being able to swing something and not have to worry about entering the markets is incredibly beneficial. Like I really could have stopped trading back in October. I could have been done, 1,000 pips on EU, 1,500 points on NASDAQ, 1,200 pips on gold, all without the risk of having to take more. So, I mean, both are right. Like you could do it either way. What's really going to matter is the market conditions. Market conditions are going to favor, the range traders that are, kind of trading every single day and looking for entries every day. And then trending markets, of course, will benefit those that are actually holding longer term. But I just didn't want to make it sound like we were discounting the pros to longer term trading. Because if you ask me, that the best thing you could ever do is not put more money at risk. If you don't have to enter a position and you can still benefit from the moves in the market, I honestly truly believe there's nothing better than that. So yeah, just my perspective. Again, though, like I'm not trying to say anybody's wrong. In fact, I'm trying to say everybody is right. And there's pros and cons, obviously, to everything.
Right.
You'll be able to achieve your goal faster on lower time frames if you can consistently do it. But if you can catch a longer term trade, then you can still achieve and supersede your targets without assuming any more risk. So it's a double-edged sword depending on what you want to do and what the market is prepared to do at the end of the day.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, bro. And I'm glad you said that, because I think one thing I mentioned before is how trading is a paradox, of meaning that there's a million different ways you can approach this. That's why, me personally, I'm against trend lines and basic support and resistance and stuff like that. However, there's somebody out there in the world that's making millions of dollars doing it. So it's like, who's right and who's wrong? It's like, as long as you're making money, that's what you need to understand. There's more than one way to make money in the markets. And that's the beautiful thing about it. But that's also the reason why you need to set parameters and rules for yourself. Because, obviously I say I like to enter the market just about every day, but that doesn't mean that I'm doing it recklessly. Like I still have to have my requirements met. My trade confirmations do need to present themselves. And I take opportunities because I know the markets are fractal, meaning that whatever I see on the higher time frame, I can also see on the lower time frame. So although I may favor the lower time frame, me understanding that the markets do have a fractal nature, there's no reason to not allow certain positions to turn into swing positions. And there's no reason to, necessarily overtrade or do anything uncharacteristic as well. So, again, realizing that Like I know people that trade counter trend. You know, they only look for reversals, and you know they may hit their stop losses often, but they also make money. You know, I know people that only go at the trend. I know people that trade a million different ways, and it's not, you know, like Skag said, it's not to say one is specifically better than the other. It's like you really do have to figure out what your personality type is in order to you know, do that. Like me personally, I enjoy trading. Like I wake up at 6 a.m. every day anyway. So I just like I get on the charts and see if I see something. Like that's just the way that I am. But you know, Skaggs, he's the type where if he's in a position where he knows that's gonna be the bottom for the next 6 years, you know, like he's gonna take it, he's gonna hold it, you know, until it gets warm outside again. And I, you know, I gotta give him his flowers because that's crazy for me. Like I've never personally been able to, you know, hold trades as consistently as he does. You know, I'm actually in a trade that I've been in for quite a while right now, but just overall, like just to be able to do that day in and day out or week in and week out, you know, that takes a lot of talent. You know what I'm saying? It takes a lot of mental fortitude. So I got to give it to you, bro. Like that's definitely dope. And again, whatever your preference is as traders, guys, just go for it. You know, there's a million ways to make money.
That is a big fact. And I think that's, you know, just like what they mentioned in the chat as well, what makes this team unique is that we all have our own perspectives, our own way of trading, right? And we do it in ways where it all still low key ties into each other, right? Like even though some might look at longer perspectives and some might look at smaller perspectives, for the most part, the idea as to the direction of the market for the most part is usually still going to be the same. It's just all about the execution tactics that you want to do and the longevity and you having, you know, and holding in positions. All right. And I think that's really what, you know, separates us as a team. You know, we all bring our own unique style of trading to the table. And, you know, we do our thing with that. Right. And we do it in a way that it gives hope to everybody else that isn't just, you know, stuck on one strategy or whatever, or is trying to figure out what to do or things like that. Right. So, yeah, you know, I love this combination we got for sure. Let's see. At the end of the day, it's all about psychology. 100%. It really is. All right, but what you looking at there? That GCAT is running again?
Yeah, so hopefully I feel like this was just a, you know, retest of that point of interest. Um for my ICT people, what does he call it? What is this? Consequent encroachment, I think. I'm not sure. But whatever. I feel like the market's about to hopefully we fall off and you know take these lows out. Hoping that we can reach this area down here. If we reach this low, I'll probably close majority of the position and let the rest run. But you know, we'll see. We'll see, man. I do feel like it's probably safe to go to move the stop loss at this point, considering that, you know, I took my entry, we did come back towards that entry and then push away again. It's probably safe to do something like at least, you know, cover up the highs. You know, even if you don't want to go completely break even, maybe just cover up some highs a little bit just to lessen the risk there. But yeah, we're moving nice. You know, we are moving nice. So, you know, we'll see what happens, man. It's only up like, you know, nothing crazy. It's just okay, about 15 pips. It doesn't calculate as 15 pips when you take the trade. So I'm up like on my MT4, I'm up about 10 pips. So, you know, we'll see how this plays out today. Hopefully it'll be a nice New York session for me. So
100%. 100%. Yeah, so I mean, Skaggs, you got anything you want to look at? Kyle, you guys got anything you guys want to look at that you guys are in, taking advantage of? Where you guys at?
I mean, I can go over. There's nothing that I'm looking at specifically today, except maybe EU. Here, I'll hijack the screen. If I can find where Zoom is on my laptop here. Yes. So I was just looking at the GCAD because Ray City was in it. Yeah, so guys, yesterday, if you guys were on the live trading call yesterday that we did, I know we were not here on YouTube. I apologize. We weren't able to get the stream up until like 8:27. And I was trying to get it up as quick as possible from my laptop. So we're actually on Zoom. So if you guys are not in our Telegram chat, first off, make sure you guys get in Telegram. This way you guys are up to date on all of the trading sessions that we do that are not on YouTube, because sometimes, again, without my desktop and stuff like that, sometimes we can't go live here. So I'm gonna just paste the link in the chat for you guys real quick again, because a lot of what I'm gonna be talking about now we discussed yesterday. So there's the Telegram chat that I just put in the Discord. Or I'm sorry, in the YouTube chats on the Discord. And yeah, we're just gonna take a look at a few of the things we discussed yesterday. Yesterday after CPI, as these things are kind of all at their highs, I was discussing how I really wanted to kind of fade the market and begin to hedge my longer term buys, right? I am in buys on the NASDAQ, no longer from this area. I've actually closed those out. But from down to like 10,460, which is literally the low. I gave this to you guys 3 CPI readings ago, and we've been just trading bullish ever since. And ever since we've kind of taken the liquidity above this candle over here, which I'll just highlight for you guys that may have trouble seeing it, and also pushed above the liquidity that we've been forming basically over the past like two or so weeks, that I was like, this doesn't really look sustainable, so I'm probably going to want to just begin to hedge my position and see where we end up after the Fed meeting. NASDAQ closed very strong to the downside. This was actually pretty much the high, so we are short from about the 12,160 area, depending where you guys got in. I know some people that were on the call took SPX instead, which I'm pretty sure closed relatively the same way. And now I'm really kind of just waiting to see what the Fed does, right? I'm hedged. I got my stop losses at break even on this position. And overall, I am expecting this to kind of fade to the downside. Now, I know it's widely expected that the Fed does a 50 basis point hike, which I know a lot of people are going to say, well, Skaggs, if they do 50, that's going to be seen as bullish for indices and bearish for the dollar. And technically speaking, you would be correct, right? That is the risk that I am taking going into today, holding these shorts. Now, of course, if this does blow through and it stops me out at break even, I still have those longer term buys that I'm benefiting from. So I don't specifically care. I've kind of trapped the market in a way that no matter what happens today, I'm going to more or less not benefit at all, because again, I'm 1-to-1 hedged. So even if this does move down and I lose profits on the buy side, I make it back up on the sell side. If this comes back up and I stop out at the break even here, it's okay, because the profits from the buy side, again, I'm not gonna really make or lose anything on this hedge. Now the reason that I'm doing this is because, again, the market kind of expects this. This has been the expectation since the last CPI reading. We've just got another CPI reading that jumped down to 7.1%. And I know the market is like, okay, cool, the Fed's going to do 50 basis points. Right, the Fed's going to do 50 basis points. And all week long, we've kind of traded up into that idea. So I'm kind of playing off the idea that the market has, again, mostly priced this in, and that the market is probably going to brush it off if it happens, and they're going to be more focused on what the projections say. And we do expect the projections to be raised, right? Powell has said this, that they're going to look to, raise the projections of what we to expect in 2023 and 2024, right? What their basic overall achievement rate is going to be. So I'm kind of playing that. I'm playing the idea that the market has priced in the 50, but now it's forward looking to see what those projections are and to see if they're scary. If they're not scary, this should erase pretty easily. If they do hike those projections by decent amounts, and it just kind of means that even though we're getting less aggressive on the hikes and we're doing 50, that we will be kind of sustaining that for longer, and the market may see that as a reason to kind of tumble. So I'm really just playing again off those rumors. I positioned myself yesterday in an area where it made sense to kind of play in extreme liquidity. Now that we're back in the range, we're kind of in the middle of nowhere. All these people that are trying to play today are probably going to have a really tough time, right? This is probably going to be able to grab liquidity down here. It can come up. There's a whole lot of like what ifs about what could happen in the middle of the range. I don't play inside the middle of the range. So that's kind of what we were looking at yesterday. This is a beautiful trade. If you guys are in this with me, I told you guys yesterday to book some, partials around this area. We never quite really pushed below 11,700 like I sent in the Telegram message, but I did say begin to take partials around this area. So again, even if it came up and you guys started taking it up here, whatever it may be, you should have at least partialed out on this. So a beautiful like 300 or so, point trade depending on where you exited. And now we get to hold risk free. Now I did the same thing on Euro USD. This held up a little bit nicer. You could actually see the analysis from Sunday. It never really gave us that liquidity grab, but it did push to the upside. And again, because this has all this pent up liquidity here, and I'm playing the rumors, I am also hedged on this. Now EU is a little bit different because EU is continuing to build liquidity up here. And that is, kind of annoying. That kind of makes me believe that we probably will run these highs on the news. Maybe not by much, maybe enough just to grab it and then drop, if that's going to be the case. If not, we're probably going to blow right through, and I'll have to look at that 107.50 area. But again, I'm not going to really make or lose anything depending what happens here. But if you guys did take EU, again, this one is a little bit different. It's continuing to build up liquidity. It was not able to close down like NASDAQ is. You could even see the level we were going to go break even at if it did move down, and we just never reached this. So this is, again, technically at risk. Again, I think with these highs here, my expectation is that news is probably going to push up. So if you are in any short position, that is going to be the worry. I know some people are probably going to look at what they call an order block here. For me, not a valid order block, doesn't swipe liquidity, doesn't close at the highs. It's just not something that I kind of want to take a look at. So that's really all I'm looking at for today. It's just going to be all eyes on what the Fed actually does. And if we can get what I want, and we do end up closing the day down, then obviously our targets are down here at like 101.70 for that little bit of a dollar pullback, because it just really hasn't made any substantial moves since we've been riding out this trend. And again, this is where our long-term entries kind of sit down here at 96. So yeah, that's all I really see for today, though. I'm not really entertaining anything past or prior to 2 p.m. here. We'll check chat real quick, see if there's anything new in the chats. But that basically sums up my day. Let's see. We actually got a bunch of stuff in chat here. Yeah, this is super off topic, but what do you think of Algorand, XRB, and HBAR? They're all ISO tokens, so you should be bullish on all of them. The new financial structure will be adopting a variety of those, including some others. So yeah, those. I feel like you've asked me that before, Vive Master. To be honest with you, I feel like you've asked us that twice. My answer is going to remain the same. Did you guys happen to look at the NASDAQ at all today? I mean, we just went over that, so that answers that for you, Mark. My thought process in trading, my strategy per se, is very much evolved. Love to hear it, Reap. Love to hear it. I love that the team has different perspectives. We get information on scalp state trading. Yeah, I know. I love the fact that we have people that are playing the longer term stuff, shorter term stuff. You guys really get a variety of opinions, and to some degree that may even add some confusion. But I still believe that having multiple opinions is better than following just one person with one opinion and not being able to learn from maybe what went wrong. Let's see what else we have.
I actually wanted to ask you a question, Skaggs, in terms of the summary of economic projections, right? Because that is definitely going to be one of the most important things that traders should be focused on, because that could really, again, lead the market in a certain direction. But one thing that you mentioned that I don't know if it's going to happen now just because of all the recent data that has come out, where you think that they actually are going to increase their projections, right? So you think they're going to go well above that 5% rate. Is that what you were saying?
Well, I mean, so again, we have to look at this from like a mathematical standpoint, right? If they leave it at the 5%, then basically what they have to do is pause hikes altogether. They have no other option, because we're already at 4.5, like we're already in the 4% range. Like if they say we're not going to go above 5, that means they're going to pause. If that's the case, then the markets are just going to fly because that's not like slowing down. So if depends on what their plan is. If they're gonna pause, then yeah, they could leave it at 5%. We don't have much room till that 5%. We'll have maybe 1, 2 interest rate decisions, and then they pause. That's incredibly bullish for the market. But the reason why we think they're going to extend it, one is that's what Powell said, right? So that's the last real comment we have from Powell is that they're going to do that. So I'm going to assume that he's not just lying to me. He could be,
I
but I'm going
mean,
to assume that he's not.
I mean, they've been
Right?
lying for the past 2 years. They haven't had no idea.
Oh, no, they're not lying. They're just
Listen,
they're careful with their
that's
words.
straight lies. They said
No, they're
that,
careful with their
bro. They
words.
said inflation wasn't transitory. They said all this stuff, bro, and it came out to be lies. Bro, you don't gotta, you know what I'm saying? You don't
Not
gotta beat
it's
it
not
down.
lies. It's just
No, they were wrong. That's lies.
wrong. No, being wrong and lying are not the same thing.
Listen,
Being wrong and lying are not the same thing.
I take it
Right.
as
And it's
both.
not, and that's again, that's an opinion thing. That's like when they say like inflation is transitory, they don't really have control of that. But if they say they're going to do something with the rates, they have full control over that decision. So it's a completely different the semantics around it, in my opinion.
Hmm.
But again, but even if you just base it off math, right? It's like, again, ask yourself, do you expect the Fed to just suddenly pause after all these rates and think that, oh, 7.1 is enough? Their target's 2%, bro. Like, yeah, we've came down to 7, but like, is the work they've done really enough to get us down to 2, 3%? Probably not. Like, can it get us down to like mid fives, maybe like higher, like lower sixes? Yeah, probably. So again, they're just out of room. They have to build more room to allow these 50% or these 50 basis point hikes, these 25 basis point hikes. They just don't have any room on the road right now. So I think they're gonna, extend it by a lot. No, but do they have to extend it to some degree if they want to continue doing smaller hikes? Mathematically, they have to. They have no choice but to do that. So
Yeah.
I do think that they extend the projections like that. I think we probably get like 2, maybe 3 50 basis points. Then we'll go down to 25, and the 25 will probably stay there for a while as we fight, inflation down to the, higher fours, lower fives into that like 3% territory. And then they'll probably hold it. Then they'll pause. So they just need to build more road for themselves. Otherwise, again, if they do 50 now, they're basically right at that 5%. And then what are they gonna do? Hold? They can't hold. So
Yeah, see,
yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
just
I see it. I think just because of all the recent data and the trend that CPN, and I apologize for the crying baby in the background, right? I got to be a father for a few minutes.
we can't even hear it. You're good.
All right, perfect. But yeah, I just think because of all the most recent data, right? We've had 3 or 4 CPIs in a row where we've slowly seen it go lower, and I mean, there's a lot of different factors, right? But I wouldn't be surprised, and again, I could be obviously wrong, but I wouldn't be surprised if they actually either kept it the same or even possibly lowered it, right? And I also, depending on what comes out in February CPI, all right, because we do have a nice CPI reading as well, in February, they actually might consider doing a 50 basis point, obviously today, maybe one more, and then they might consider just doing 25 basis points until they finally do get inflation at that level that they truly want. Which, again, there isn't that much room, like you said. But I don't know. I wouldn't be
Yeah, I
surprised
mean they don't have to create. I mean, like when you're talking about 50 and 25 base, like they don't have to raise it by a lot. Like
at
I'm
all.
just saying they're gonna go over that. For like again, like and somebody just said in the chat, right? Like Easy Pip Sniper, like closer to 6, like 6.5. So because like right now they don't even have room to do the 50 and 25s. Like if even if that was their plan, like to follow the plan that you laid out, like they still need to extend it to even achieve that.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't think they're going to extend it drastically. I just they have to somewhat in order to get to where they want to go. And another thing you guys need to consider too is getting inflation down from 9% to 7% is a lot easier than getting it from 7 to 5. And then getting it from 7 to 5 is a lot easier than getting it from 5 to 3. As closer they get to the goal, the harder it's going to be, and the longer the rates need to kind of remain high in order for them to achieve it. It's not like an easy thing. It's like the getting it from 9 to 7 again. Like they honestly, that probably would have happened even if they just were slightly less aggressive. Like it's a lot easier to achieve that because prices are more volatile at that. But as they kind of come closer to like a more like what they call like less volatile state, it becomes harder and harder to actually get those numbers down. So us jumping as much as we are, it's going to slow. Like CPI is not going to continue to jump down like 0.75% every CPI reading. It's not going to do that. As it gets to 6%, 5%, it's going to be harder for them to do that. So they will need to continuously add those 25 and 50 basis point hikes to kind of slowly keep that going. And this is actually a conversation I recently had with Jordan, because we were kind of like trying to lay out the map for like 2023, and it's like the same idea, the same thing I told him. I'm like, listen, like as these inflation numbers get lower, their job does not get easier. It actually gets tougher. Because then what you have is like, well, as they begin to ease off, you begin to have money starts to kind of flow more, but you're still trying to bring inflation down, and like you start having mechanisms that are working against each other in some ways. So yeah, just be prepared for that. It's
Yeah,
just
I definitely.
small things that we have to pay attention to.
Yeah, that's pretty much really it. But like I said, I wouldn't be surprised though if they actually. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens, right? But it's gonna be interesting to see exactly what does come out either way. Let's see.
Yeah, Fed is between a rock and a hard place. Yeah, I mean the Fed is mostly always between a rock and a hard place. They got one of the hardest jobs in the world, like Abel says. It's not it's not easy.
Hell
It's not
no.
easy, and that's again why they quote unquote, have to what Abel calls lying or being wrong. It's however you want to phrase it. But they can't like again like there's just some messages that I saw, in our chat in the back end, and it's just like, hold on, let me bring this up and read this to you guys, because there were some people, and Alex, yeah, I'm gonna signal you out, bro. I'm going to. They were talking about like inflation and stuff, and he said, he quoted the Fed like, what inflation, we're fine. There's no inflation to worry about. And then a few months later, it's transitory. And I'm like, well, what do you want them to say? Like, even if they expected inflation to go up, the Fed's not going to come out and say, hey, guys, so just so you know, inflation is going to go to 9%. We're going to have to aggressively, increase our rates, and we're going to have to, tank your economy and mess up the stock market. And there's going to be a whole bunch of layoffs. Like, they can't say that.
Nah.
They have to some degree. They cannot cause panic. They can't. So when you say like they lie, it's like, well, would you rather them tell the truth and be like, hey, guys, just so you know, this is going to be this is gonna just be a shit show. Like they can't say that. So
Well,
you have to look at where they
I
are.
mean, one can argue if they were straight up front with everything, inflation would have never got to where it got to.
Nah, I was gonna go where I was gonna go.
Listen, that's an argument that one can make
Honestly,
100%.
nah,
Uh,
you could probably make it, but I think it would have been worse.
no
I think the
way.
market would have panicked. Yeah, no, the everyday individual would have panicked, because then what happens is like if you tell people inflation is going to go to 9% and that the price of everything is going to go up, what are they going to do? They're going to go out and they're going to buy like crazy. So they're going to drain through their savings even more than they've already been forced to drain through their savings. It's going to spiral inflation more out of control, because now you're forcing supply out of the hands of suppliers into the demand of the people. So you're draining the supply, which means there's more demand, less supply. You're going to drive prices up higher. It would honestly cause panic. You can't, the public, it's the same reason they don't tell people about, certain geopolitical events, and the same reason why people think that they don't admit to like aliens being real is because you would just cause mass panic for no reason. And then that would result in a worse situation. It's like if you told everybody that the price of gas was going to be $2 higher next month, what do you think people are going to do? People are going to line up like crazy to go get gas for no reason, even though it's not going to take any effect until 2 months. And what they're going to do is they're going to drain the entire supply of oil, and they're going to just jack up the price. And then it's going to be a worse than if it just naturally occurred and people had to respond to it later. I mean, that's how I see it. That's how I see the psychology of it.
Yeah, no,
Again, I could be
perspective.
wrong, but that's just how I see it.
Yeah, I definitely see your perspective, but if they would have just been called out that they were wrong when inflation was at 3, 4, 5%, when it finally like that would have definitely
Oh, that I can agree
that
with.
would have
They could have
shifted.
been more transparent
They
sooner,
could have
for
shifted
sure.
the whole thing, and we wouldn't have been going through. Obviously, yeah, everything is hindsight at the end of the day, right? Would have, could have,
Yeah.
should have type stuff, but yeah, it's a lot. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a tough job they have. It's a tough job they have.
That's a
Like again,
fact.
they can't just be spooking the market for no reason. Because then it also makes their job even more difficult if the market's in like panic over something that's, quote unquote, not actually happening yet.
That's a fact. Let's see.
Yeah, see what they did with toilet paper. Yeah, exactly. Use the toilet paper as your benchmark example for what happens when you tell people that there's gonna be price increases or supply shortages.
That
It's
was
just
the
a self-fulfilling
craziest. That
prophecy.
was the craziest thing I've seen probably in one of my life. Like a
Yeah,
freaking
but now
drought showing
imagine
people.
that with everything in the store.
Yo, so I want to take a look at this. I want all you guys to take a look at this real quick. I actually got this probability tracker that's actually from the actual Atlanta Fed, right? So this is actually like a government tool, right? And look at what this tracker is actually predicting overall for the path. As of right now, the range that they're expecting this month is to be around that 4.5. Well, right here is 4.4 to 4.5. But going into next year, right around March, they're expecting it to be around 4.6 to 5.1 type shit, you could say. So yeah, even this projection is expecting a little bit higher than the 5% level. I think that the high that they have here on this projection is around 5.4% for the federal funds rate to finally chill at, and then from there it's just straight downhill. All right, so this is actually interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, again, that kind of aligns with what I'm looking for, like a little bit of a bullish dollar just into, again, because of the expectation that it's going to go more. And then we got to use this last rally in the dollar
Hmm.
as our reason to kind of go, you know, into all of the assets. Like 2023 is going to be the year of accumulating. It's not, again, like I'm not calling no bear market in 2023. We're probably going to like slowly trend to the upside. So if you're not already accumulating things, because I've seen somebody ask about Bitcoin and Ethereum,
Hmm.
any dips that you get, I mean, me personally, I'm a buyer all day because again, then we're closer to that pivot than we are anything else. So
Hmm. That's a fact. Let's see. This thing is already pricing in a 25 basis rate hike, or pretty much a 99% 25 basis rate hike, probably for the next reading. Obviously not for today, but my guess would be for the next one. And that's the thing. It really does come down to what comes out today on the summary of economic projections, man, to see what their path is. It's gonna be interesting to see for sure. But like again, guys, if you guys don't understand, like there's a lot of different tools like this one right here, which again is literally one that is from the Fed itself, right? That gives us an idea of what could actually happen, right? So just use these tools that you have, access to your advantage, right? And, come up with a bias that makes the most sense to you at the end of the day.
yeah, you might want to go take over to Nasdaq because Nas is open and kind of running pretty bullish, to be honest with you.
Are we really? Okay, so my EU is still doing a stizzle. Let's go back. Oh my goodness. Nice pump there. All of them. All right, so now that the stock market exchange is open, family, New York Stock Exchange, let's see what this is about to do. Let's see what the market gives us because we are experiencing a lot of bullishness off front. We have this midpoint right here that we obviously can go ahead and tap into. But what are you? I mean, this is for a question for everybody on the call, right? Now, obviously, I know Ray and Kyle really aren't that. They understand fundamentals, but they don't really focus too much in terms of decision making. But from a technical perspective, what is everybody's thoughts on NAS, US 30, SPX, the indices as a whole? What do you guys think is going to happen? Let's see.
I mean, I'm looking at a push to 12,000 and then possible drop again, pending what the Fed does later. But if I had to look for a spot to look for supply to come in, it would be around that the 12K mark.
Yeah, right around these levels. Yep. Yeah.
I actually like that a lot. It actually has hidden supply in the 30 minute that correlates with that. So, honestly, if for anybody that trades the indices, I think that is a good potential setup for sure. Um, you know, Especially with the outlook we have on the dollar. I definitely feel like you guys should trade in that direction.
I mean, it really is going to come down to whatever happens at 2 p.m. at the end of the day. But I think there's a good chance that that does happen too, where we do see the market spike up into these levels, only for us to go ahead and go back bearish will be my guess as well.
Also on the weekly, if you guys look on the weekly of NAS 100,
Mm,
um, it is tapping into major supply. So that is definitely something to keep an eye out on.
You said on the weekly.
Yes, look at that candle that we're.
You love these candles, huh? These little. What do you call these candles, Kyle? That you play?
It's a supply candle, supply and demand.
That's what you just call them. These little
It's
lone
a supply
candles.
candle. Yeah.
Supply and demand candles. Okay.
Yeah, I know. I used to call it a continuation block, but I've since renamed it to a liquidity block because the term continuation was confusing people, thinking that it was always going to just massively fall from those levels, where that's not wasn't my intention. But yeah, so like I would also say like a supply and demand, like that's also a great name for it, because that's really what it is. It is just supply at the end of the day.
Okay. Yeah, because Kyle loves those plays.
Yeah, you got to be careful with the weekly though, because the weekly, like again, you got to keep in mind the time frame that you're on. Like the
I don't
weekly
know. I like it
may like to
because
retest it
the
one or
last
two
the last
times.
previous weekly candle was a bearish engulfing. So like I feel like this weekly candle is gonna close bearish. Like don't be surprised if this week closes bearish.
That would
Like
be.
that's
Yeah,
usually
it's
that's usually what
You know
happens.
what's crazy? I'll go into one of my favorite candlestick plays, which is literally this right here, that same play that you're looking at, where we have previous week's high gets completely ran. Like at one point, this was completely high, right? This was a bullish candlestick, but then it ended up closing completely engulfing it. Like I love this candlestick sequence right here. We break the previous high and then ended up closing bearish. So that could be a very similar play that we see here. We ran the highs over here, these previous week candles, and if we end up calling bullish, then yeah, we're definitely gonna go lower.
You see how we tapped that candle before, but we were in equal high territory. We made an engulfing, and now
yeah.
we're
The thing
trading.
is though, you gotta. I mean, I'm also bearish, so yeah, but you gotta take it with a grain of salt too, because those candles, they don't work like an order block. You can't be like it touched the open of the candle. Oh, it's gonna drop.
Oh
More
yeah,
times than not, those candles they get they get liquidated. That's what we call it, a liquidity
it can
candle.
it can for sure get liquidated.
It will
Yeah.
get liquidated. Maybe not
So
this week, but it will get liquidated.
You talking about this
yes,
candle right here on the daily?
Well, I mean, there's a bunch of imbalance and inefficiency there, but I mean on the weekly, like those candles, again, playing the bottom of that candle is not what you do. You play the wipe of the top of the candle.
Yeah.
That's I mean that's how I teach it, because that's the more likely thing to happen.
I mean,
So
it's
I like again,
just.
I got to be careful on the weekly, because again, like we might react down, but yeah, I don't, it's all gonna depend on the Fed, bro. It's all gonna depend on the Fed.
Yeah, I think.
you know what's crazy? What might happen is I'm actually gonna show because both things could actually happen. I'm actually gonna share my screen and show you guys my perspective because it can actually absolutely do that. It could do this. It could react off of this area and you know actually go ahead and come down into this region. This is all like definitely just like a hypothesis, but like it can trade up and do something like that. So,
Yeah, let me
you know,
ask you a question. So so that candle you just drew the rectangle on, what do you is that what you call an order block?
no, I wouldn't call it an order, but I would just says candle where
What is the purpose for playing it? Is like my question. Like, so what do you what do you
I
consider
would
that
not I
candle?
would not play this buy at all. I would
Oh,
definitely
okay. I thought that's
I
what you
would
were
not play it.
saying.
Especially since we're bearish on this, I preach just playing the trend. I'm just saying, like, if you were like waiting for this and you were like, man, I'm waiting on this. Like the thing is, I don't like, if it's in the direction of the trend and it meets my things, my confirmations, like I'm gonna take a stab at it. And I'm not gonna wait for the highest entry possible. And at the end of the day, I'm always gonna keep it in mind though. I'm always gonna have it at least marked. And I'm always gonna at least trade in a way where I can at least have leverage available to take it if it does come up to the highest probable point
No, I mean the one
possible.
below, not the higher one, the one below, the one where your rectangle is.
Oh yeah, I mean I wouldn't play it. I'm just saying like
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna if I was playing NAS100, I would take it here anyway.
Yeah, but
I would
I'm
say
asking about like the logic though. Like, what do you call that candle? Like, why is that candle significant to you? Like what makes that candle significant?
it's demand, and if this were to come up to this candle, it would have to fill inefficiency completely. I also feel like it's demand and it also aligns with inefficiency. So when I see candles that form like this and also align with inefficiency, that gives it a probable chance that it would wick off from something like this. And I'm not saying that it has to make the reaction spike all the way up to here, because I wouldn't be playing this by anyway. It can absolutely make a reaction and do something like this. So that's a possibility as well. So that's why it would be great to take an entry right here. That's why I
Yeah, that's
just
fair
feel
enough.
you.
I just wanted to know how you defined the candle was all. But no, I definitely agree.
I just feel like
I don't know.
this
I was
is
just
an
trying to
area that the
pick your
market would
brain on
just
the
have
logic
some.
behind it.
I just feel like the market would just have trouble in this area when we come down here. Like, do I say that it's gonna have trouble? Yeah, but ultimately we will break these lows at the end of the day. That's no question.
That's
Is
questionable.
only a matter of time till these lows get broken. It's just I just feel like this might be area that the market might just play around with before we even come down and break this area. But ultimately, this low will get achieved. It's just a matter of where you're gonna get your lower high point. It can either be here or here. So it's kind of up to you guys.
Interesting. No, I like it. I like it. I'm just picking your brain to see more about how you think about certain candlesticks. But
Yeah, I
definitely
wouldn't be
appreciate you
playing
explaining
this
how
at
you.
all. I just feel like it's gonna bounce when it comes up to here. So
Yeah. I mean, me personally, I would prefer to not even see it go down there at all. I'm not again like you keep talking about like the trend and like the trend for me is not bearish. So that's where my only disagreement comes in is like you keep saying like that low is gonna get taken and I'm just like I'm like we'll have to see about that.
yeah, I
But
know
again,
you're
it's all just different opinions. I mean,
I know you're
my
bullish
opinion's
from
probably gonna
here.
be
So
different at 2 o'clock. So my opinion right now probably don't even mean much to be honest with you.
the thing is, I feel you, bro. Like if I know you're in some deep profits from down here. So you know, obviously, I would want it to continue for you, bro. So honestly, I just feel like I just have to just seeing just seeing momentum, right? Right. So this is something that I also pay attention to. I use this. Where is it? It's a date range. So I look at the bars, right? This is something that I learned too. So like if you look at this down move over here, it happened about 63 days and it is 9 bars, right? And it took about 63 days for this bearish move to happen. Right? This it shows you how long moves take, right? This move over here that we're making is about 9 bars, 63 days as well. But at the end of the day, you guys have to look at how many pips and like look at the effort of this move. Like I just see a lot of bearish effort, and I feel like this bullish effort is more so just like a little bit more choppy. It's a lot more corrective. I just see something like this. I just see this building up, and until this breaks and shows me that it would be something would have to break majorly in order for me to go bullish, and I would have to go, you know. But from my perspective, I'm just gonna keep going with momentum.
Yeah, it's fair enough. It's fair enough. It's just two different trading styles is all we have. But yeah, no, I definitely
And
agree.
at the end
The
of the day, bro, I
momentum is
just
clearly if you're gonna
sorry, keep
base it
going.
off.
My bad.
No, I think you're good. I like the momentum like you're identifying is definitely Interesting. Like that's a good way to look at it, like how far it's moved over, how long it took to get to where it's going. Um, yeah, definitely an interesting concept. So you're saying you wouldn't even be looking at buys for any reason until we're above that, what, that 12,800? Is that what you're looking at? Or that weekly
Yeah,
candles?
I would need to see. I would need to see something like this.
Like that get taken out? Okay.
Yeah, I would need to see some cause, you know. I mean, from the positioning that we're in right now, yeah, longing is just like out of the question. Now from your like positioning, like, you know, for sure, like I wouldn't tell you to close those longs for anything.
Yeah, but I'm looking at it objectively even without my position. Like I'm not letting my position affect my bias.
Yeah, I
I've already
mean,
booked profits on that. Like I'm not, I mean, like I have it like there's still positions open, but I'm
for
not
sure. I mean,
really
from maybe
considering
like,
it.
yeah, some like October, you know, November range, yeah, it was great to look long, but it's I feel like where we're at in the market, it's no longer time to look long on NAS. And you know, it's time to look short. And you know, I feel like if you were to look long, then we would have to see something major shift, and then we can start looking long again. But we just don't have confirmation for that right now. I just feel like.
Very, very interesting for
And things
sure.
could change for sure, like, you know. So obviously I'm not married to my bias. You know, I have two outcomes. I have the possibility that we continue, and you know, I also have the possibility that, you know, once we do get more confirmation and we do see this thing start to break out, then yeah, we can start going heavily bullish on this thing all the way up until we get to somewhere up to here. Right. So that's kind of just like how I see Nas. I'm just looking at that. But I feel like usually most of the times we just like I just see it happen a lot. I just like to continue, continue. And that's usually what the market does 90% of the times. It continues.
I personally think that we also go lower for Nas. I'm not fully convinced just yet that we see an overall major shift. Until, obviously the Fed changes course. As long as the Fed is still planning on raising rates, I'm still going to be long term bearish for sure on a lot of these assets as well. But it really is just hindsight, or it's more so just speaking out of speculation, because we still got to see what happens during this meeting later on today. This meeting later on today can really give us a lot of insight as to what the Fed is planning on doing, which can obviously influence what a lot of these assets that we trade are actually going to do anyways, right? But I still am a big fan of lower pricing too, personally. But we'll see what happens at the end of the day. All right, but let's see. Let's see again, guys. Keep in mind we will be live again. At least I will be live. I'm not sure how many people on the team is going to be live, but I know I will be live again around 1:30. Just so that we can see the federal funds rate decision come out, and then we can go over the summary of economic projections together as well, and try to come up with a nice little game plan based on what is being said in those things as well, right? So that's going to be interesting. But besides that, though, anybody else got anything they want to touch on? Because I know.
Yeah, honestly, you know, I did want to actually go ahead and talk about USD CAD. You know, to be honest, I was talking about this on the stream, um, you know, a couple of times, and I do want to just go over it again because, you know, if it does achieve the levels that I'm looking at, you know, I do want you guys to look to execute. And, you know, to be real, guys, I feel like, you know, we are leaning towards the bearish side on this. So I will look to see something like this happen, right? You know, especially after we tapped off of this inefficiency. I'd like to see USD CAD, you know, close bearish for the day, or maybe tomorrow. something like that. I just feel like this inefficiency needs to get filled first. You can say I like the 175. So the 36 175 level is a great area to aim for. It aligns with this right here. You guys already know me. I have to always get my USD CAD right. And I feel like this could be a play that maybe could play out for FOMC, right? FOMC is today at 2 p.m. I do have an alert around there. Maybe we can get some sort of spike up for us to play something like that. It's only a 15 pip stop loss. And structure and momentum is giving me everything that I want to see. We have a lot of confirmation on this trade. Supply and demand, structure, even some Wyckoff with this distribution right here. It's just a lot of confirmation stacked up on each other. So for sure, I would be looking to sell USD CAD once we get up to there. Again, it's 15 pip stop, and we can aim all the way down here to fill this inefficiency. And this is a 1 to 11 risk to reward trade. Aligns with the daily, 4 hour, 1 hour. I mean, this is multiple time frame confluence. And even if we do come up to a higher candle, I still would even be willing to play that because it would be such a 10 pip risk. So, at the end of the day, we have a lower high possibility here on USD CAD, 15 pip risk, 1 to 11. That's why I'll be taking a majority of the profit because we can have a possible long entry. But, if we go on to the 4 hour and the daily, you guys need to pay attention that we have some lows here that very much well could be getting took, right? And I feel like these lows, you should aim for these lows, to be honest. Target these lows when you're trading USD CAD. These lows are something that I see getting taken out, right? And, honestly, guys, I feel like this could be the high. Who knows? We're playing this sell regardless. I want you guys to put an alert there at 36175. Yes, I'm going to be taking this trade. So, manage your risk accordingly. I'm going to give you guys the parameters again one last time, but these lows is something that I see getting taken out. So who knows? Those could be the highs that take us through to there. And if you were to at least hold a position, manage your trade properly, this could be a 1 to 25 scenario, right? So, play it accordingly. And, that is something that I will be looking at for sure. Now, GU pretty much have the same thing as them. Maybe we can come up to somewhere up here and wipe down. Same thing with EU. Maybe you could do something like that. To be honest, this is still not out of the question too. This is also still not out of the question. That was horrible, but you guys get the gist. Honestly, I don't really have these set up for you guys on EU and GU just yet. I'm kind of just sitting on my hands on these two pairs. Not really any clear, small risk reward setups for you guys just yet. I will alert you guys if so. The EU sells that these guys are in, I do agree with. And I feel like they will pan out. Definitely ride those out if you're in with the guys. But yeah, I'm really just looking at this USD CAD. That's pretty much it. Honestly, does any of you guys have anything else? And, for all of you guys in the chat, I will check out the chat as well. Maybe we can do a little Q&A right now. If nobody has anything.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still just gonna be writing out what I've been writing out, which is this EU. I think it's still very much valid. I'll actually show you guys. Are you done with your markups, Kyle?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're good, bro.
All right, so let me show you guys just a little bit of what I'm looking at for EU. So again, this is something that I ended up telling you guys about last night. Looking for the short up here. I ended up taking the short. I'm still, again, my risk is still open. I haven't went break even or anything just yet. So I'm still, I still got my risk open, right? Um, but what actually just happened is very interesting, right? So I still think, guys, that we do end up running above this trend line up into this level up here. Literally where my entry is for another potential re-entry, right? Just because like look how structure is forming, right? It's getting very choppy. It's showing like this little wedge pattern or whatever you want to call it, triangle pattern, whatever you want to call it, right? And I think this is leading up just into that big push higher, all right? And I wouldn't be surprised if, right, just going to lower time frames, if we either start pushing up off of this little pause right here in the market, or if we come down to the extremes and we even see the market give an opportunity to go bullish off of there. Now, I'm not going to be trying to ride every single trade, right? I'm not going to be looking for these buys, personally speaking, because I'm already in the shorts or whatever. But if you are anticipating something, I expect the market to potentially bounce off of these levels, either one of these two zones, and send us higher, right? So I'm still going to be holding. I'm in the trade. I've already accepted the outcome, whether it's a win or a loss. I really don't care. And I'm just going to play it out, right? But this is the only position that I'm currently in right now. GJ is just, yeah, GJ actually went back down. Here's the thing, GJ itself, guys, it literally has gone exactly to where I initially called out last night. Gave the push off of that. And then even on this stream, I said, man, we could probably see another push back down now to then get another push higher. And they're literally doing exactly just that. I'm still a big fan of seeing GJ guys go ahead and at least, target back up into, this structure up here around this 167.5. So that's the only one I'm actually going to keep my eye on is GJ. But the only one I'm currently in is this EU. Now, again, 0.5% risk, right? Anything that I take, guys, for the rest of this year is going to be 0.5% risk. Nothing else, nothing more, nothing less. All right, so that's pretty much where I'm at. All right, but let me go ahead and just see what the chat is talking like. But that's EU. Let's see. I'm on my phone. I can't see. Couldn't see. Let's see. For USD CAD. Yeah, I mean, Kyle, if you don't mind, bro, can you drop your USD CAD perimeters? Or at least in the Chizzy chat. If you want to drop it. You don't have to.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop it in the chat and also in the Profit Society. So you guys in there will get the sneak peek.
Yeah.
Shout out to all you guys that are registered to the Profit Society. We just cracked 1,000 members. Yo, let everybody drop spam 1,000 in the chat, man. Honestly, no, spam 2K in the chat because we're going for 2,000. And honestly, guys, I think we can get that within the next month. So appreciate all you guys.
Well, hold on. Before, real quick, little side note. We have hit 1,000. Shout out to all of you guys. I am closing beta signups at the end of this week, family, as we look to go live into 2023. So as much as we do want to push to 2,000, you guys will have to either sign up before the end of this week if you don't already have your free beta accounts, or you'll have to wait until we launch officially in the new year. But yeah, shout out to all 1,000 of you guys that have plugged in or active in the community. Love and appreciate all of you. But I did want to say that I am closing the sign up link. You will not be able to sign up after Friday.
Interesting. Yeah, so that's Kyle's UCAD right there, family, for anybody that's interested. I actually have, now that I actually brought up my UCAD, I want you to take a look at this real quick, Kyle, what I just had right on my screen.
Go ahead.
All right, because I'm looking at UCAD too, and I really initially wanted to see it come down to these lows to then go ahead and go bullish, right? But I think, just like what you think, right? You expect price to pull back up, where I do as well. But I'm also looking at all this liquidity that's probably being built up inside of this little pause, inside of this range, right? Where, again, this is my opinion. I think I wouldn't be surprised if we actually run a little bit higher up into more so this level of structure at this 1.365. before we actually go ahead and turn around lower, which is a little bit higher than what you're initially looking at personally. But what do you think, bro? Now again, it's not to say not to go against your bias, right? Or your entry wherever you want to look for. But what do you think about this creating liquidity, this little, choppiness that we've seen? Do you think that's going to hold any weight, or in your opinion, we're just going to react off of here and that's it?
Now, I have that, honestly, that same area you have marked. I like that. That's cool. That looks like a good trade. But I wouldn't be waiting for that. Just because if you look on the 4 hour, I just like the candle that we were just playing off of from the original POI that I had.
Hmm.
And also on the daily, if you look at the daily, it's just perfectly lines up with inefficiency. So, the probability that it comes up to the higher entry that you have marked is a little bit lower. So that's why I'm just like I've been bearish on USD CAD for a long time, and I had a swing entry that I wrote out for a very long time. I'm looking to go ahead and grab another one. So this is more of a swing perspective I have on USD CAD that I'm bearish on. So that's why I'm going to start selling from a little bit of a riskier range. But yeah, for sure, if you want to wait for that range, I would just advise to just split your risk between positions. Take a lower risk on the first entry, and then if you would like to wait for the second entry, just have another sell limit waiting for you that you can still handle the risk on both positions. But at the end of the day, I like the 15 pip risk. I'm willing to take it. I have a strong bearish shrink perspective on USD CAD until it fails. So that's why I'm not gonna wait for that level that you have marked. But for sure, I would also have an alert at your level because I like that candle. It's just like I don't wanna like miss an inch. I don't want to miss a swing trade because of waiting on a higher entry. So that's just my kind of um, perspective on it.
Okay. I mean, let's see. It's about a 20 pip difference, around a 20 pip, 25 pip difference in terms of entries. Yeah, I mean, either way, they could both play out. Um, see how it plays out. Yeah, but I'm gonna see. I'm gonna see how the market reacts up here, right? Because you're right. It very well could, fall off of this area of supply, right? Because we clearly had a lot of selling entering the market right above these highs, right? I mean, we even have this little level where, this big bearish candle actually came in, right? Which was yesterday, for the news. So there's a few different levels where the market can definitely go ahead and react from. For sure. So we'll see ultimately what the market does give us. Right. Big shout out to 20 Pip Savage. I appreciate you for that $10 donation. Thank you for showing love to the channel. Thank you so much for sponsoring us. It means a lot, man. So, we appreciate you for sure. Right. But yeah, that's what I'm looking at, guys. Like I said, we will be back live. I'm not sure if the guys have anything else they want to look at, but I know I'm pretty much finished, and now it's just a matter of just sitting and waiting. All right. Is the part that most traders, hate is the waiting part, right? But that's what trading is, right? Trading is 70% sitting on your hands and allowing the trades to actually play out. That's really what it comes down to. But the Profit Society website is profitsociety.co. Profitsociety.co. That is the actual website. So definitely go ahead and get locked in, and yeah, go ahead and use it. But I believe we're all done. Let's see. My password isn't working. Send us an email, James, or hit us up on our Instagram, profitsociety.co on Instagram, and we'll see if we can get figured out.
Yeah, I mean passwords, guys. I mean, just go to the login page and reset your password. It's all functional. There should just reset it like you would on any other website, guys. Just really go to the login page, hit forgot password, put your email in. It'll send you an email, and you guys can reset it through that. If for some reason that doesn't work, then yeah, please message us on Instagram and let me know. But that is all fully functional, so you guys should be able to reset no problem.
Perfect. But all right, family. We do appreciate y'all. Like I said, I know I'll be live. I think a couple of the guys will be live as well at that 1:30 time frame, just preparing for the news release. So, hopefully we see you guys all there as well. Right. But without further ado, we appreciate y'all. We love you guys. Thank you guys for rocking with us today. And we'll see you guys at 1:32 p.m. And if not, then we'll see you guys tomorrow morning. All right, family. Appreciate y'all. Have a great rest of your guys' day. Let's get it.